Well, big profit jewel of the week. So this one is called stress versus fragility, and I guess you could say equals resilience. So this jewel I got from Mark Manson, my most favorite Manson of all by far. I got this from his book. Everything is for a book about hope, right? So, um, let's talk about the relationship between stress and fragility. So, if I remember correctly, he opened up with an example of the body and the gym and just developing strength by putting the body under stress. You know, like you develop strength, you put the body through resistance training, and if you put too much weight on the body, it could break. You know, like you put a couple 100 pounds on somebody that's not trained, don't doesn't know how to have proper form. They don't know the proper technique. They're just untrained. You're gonna get injured. You're gonna get hurt, and you're gonna break something. I mean, but if you are well trained, um, you incrementally increase the weight. You can work your way up to that couple 100 pounds, right? So that's one example. Another example you spoke about racial stress. He's a white man that was talking about white fragility, right? So this was after 2020 with the whole Black Lives Matter situation and George Floyd and all these things that happened. Um, there was a lot. There was a lot of white fragility that was going on at the time with all the Karens and everybody's friends was picking sides. And this, like with the COVID and pandemic, lockdowns, all sorts of shit was happening at this time. It was a crazy time, but it really exposed how far we have to grow still. Like we still got a long way to go, but a lot of our white friends like really overreacted in this situation, and they show where they were at in this racial situation about like, yo, um, are you gonna listen to this situation and get defensive, or are you gonna listen and be patient and try to understand someone else's point of view? And that's really what it is. Yes, it's gonna be uncomfortable, and that's where this stress thing happens. When the white fragility example is like, black people or people of color in general have to deal with racism every single day of their life. They have to deal with race at the workplace, at school, growing up, every single day, everywhere they go. Every situation is affected by race. But for white people, they have a blind spot to that because race is not their problem. I mean, they have the advantage of this social dynamic. So, growing up in a Eurocentric, uh, colonized society and colonial mindset, you don't have that disadvantage. You have an advantage. So you're not going to deal with the racial stress or barely ever. You're probably never going to encounter a situation where you're at the disadvantage, you know, as opposed to people of color. That plays a role in every day of their life and pretty much every element of life, you know. So when this happened, and then people are like, the spotlight gets put on them, like, hey, what are you gonna do about this? What are you saying about this? You know, how are they gonna react to the stress? It's either fight or flight, and really neither are good when I think about it, because the fight, you know, they get defensive about it, or the flight, they just run away. You know, and that's like with the whole Karen situation, you know, and they don't know how to deal with the situation. And it's like, really, we have to develop resilience, but we also have to learn how to deal with the stress, or have to have patience to listen to someone else's point of view and ask questions. Yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable, but instead of reacting, overreacting, and acting out of character or like alienating your friends. This is a polarizing situation. We just gotta develop resilience to it. And yes, this was not a good situation for anybody. This was not good for anybody. That whole situation. But like we gotta understand, like, what is the goal? What is the outcome that we want? And we want to work together. That is the goal. That should be the goal. So we have to listen to one another, and like have difficult conversations. And there was a lot of difficult conversations, and we did have that. And our generation had more difficult and uncomfortable conversations than probably ever, than our parents or their parents. We had an advantage to be able to have these conversations. So a lot of transformational moments happened, so that's what it was stressful, but it built resilience. And now we have bonds that are stronger than ever. We know who's on our side. We know who's with us, who our allies are. So we develop stronger bonds because of it. And that's exactly what happens with the body. The tears apart, and then it heals, and then we have a stronger muscle. And we also have to look at anxiety and different things of that nature. Like the stresses that we deal with. Like we will be quick to react because our body is just telling us, fight or flight, panic mode. It's a life or death situation when it's not necessarily a life or death situation. So our body is going to react, our brain is going to overreact, and we can't just throw ourselves in an overwhelming situation and hope to be cured. We got to incrementally increase the amount of stressful situations we do that we encounter. We got to get out of our comfort zone, do something that you weren't able to do yesterday, one step at a time. Talk to somebody, talk to a stranger. Don't talk to any random stranger. Don't be a weirdo, but just say hi to somebody. Put yourself go outside, get some fresh air. You don't even gotta say hi. You could just smile at somebody, and just do something that you haven't done before, within reason. And then the next day, step it up. Go to a place that you haven't been before. Stay safe and all that, but go to a Starbucks. Maybe not a Starbucks. Maybe go to a different coffee place or Tim Hortons or whatever. There's no plug, but and then go to the mall. Go to a concert. Work your way up. Work your way up is the point, Like step by step, level by level. So I mean by it. But you gotta understand the relationship between stress and fragility, and understand that you have a lot of power under your control to incrementally increase the amount of stress you're able to handle until you can become free. And that's the point. Shout out to Mark Manson. Everything's fuck a book about hope.